This is the Living in Mid-Bloom podcast, lighthearted and heartfelt conversations about what it looks like to live, heal, and blossom in middle age. I'm your host, April Pruitt. Let's get our bloom on. Hello, everyone. How is it going? We've got Memorial Weekend coming up. I don't know if people have plans for picnics or remembering those that we've lost. I know my dad and uncles, so many loved ones that I think about during this time. And so I'm in St. Louis in the Midwest, where we have gotten that flux of cicadas, those ugly little bugs here they have yellow eyes. When I was living in DC, they were twice the size and they had big red eyes. I mean, they had heft to them. These are nothing compared to that. And the noise that they make, it sounds like a freaking alien movie. But we shall survive this too. So, going to talk about external validation. And I've talked about it over my past few personal solo episodes. And it's kind of, I don't say reared its ugly head, but I keep growing and moving forward, and every now and then we take some steps back and we have to look at something again, and that's what's going on. I struggled with Mother's Day because my mom died 2 years ago, but she and I had a very complicated relationship and at times an abusive relationship. And I've struggled with a combination of resolution, which I guess for me is forgiveness. But I think it's just one of those things that you continue to grieve. You continue to try to understand. You try to remember that everybody is supposedly doing their best. And I will just keep working through it. So it was a little struggle. It was a little down for a while, but feeling back to myself. So external validation. So when I first started this season 3, I started with personal growth, about taking better care of myself, grateful for the growth that I'd been experiencing, asking for help from God, working with my spiritual coach, bringing great people into my life, that God has helped me do that, and letting go of people that belong with others. Everybody has their own vibration. Everybody has their own rate of growth and change if they want to. It's a lot of work. It's changing your mindset, but that's what I'm doing. Then my next solo episode was about my body. What's wrong with my body? Because I've had large breasts all my life, duh. And I got bullied for that. And there were people that thought maybe you need to have something done to get them reduced or whatever. So it kind of hurts your self-esteem when there are people telling you that there's something wrong with you and you need to have surgery to fix it. I think about that, and that's crazy, you know? And that feeds into that external validation. You've got people telling you. Then I talked about dating, how I had lost all this weight, was healthy, great. And yep, boy, I was looking for external validation. Every date meant that, oh, okay, great. I have value. Oh, somebody else wants to date me. I have value. Yay, value. And, that was total lack of awareness on my part. I was looking at the superficial instead of dealing with internal healing. And then my last episode was about friendship. Something had come up recently where a former friend had reached out to me and wanted to get together, but it had been years. And the friendship had kind of languished. So again, all of these different things that have been just stepping stones in my life, things that were tough or difficult, but I learned something from them. I grow something from them. I mean, I don't think I need to tell anybody life isn't a piece of cake, but what you have to do is focus on gratitude. And that has helped me tremendously. So, all this talk about external validation. So, recently, I've been getting really positive comments about my podcast. And someone, a young lady from Mississippi, sent me a little note just saying how she enjoys my podcast and gets something from it. And that meant so much to me. So I thank her very much. When I have other friends or other people make comments, and I realized that I have been focusing on how everybody else thinks about my podcast. When I created this, I created it for a couple of reasons. One, for myself, I needed a way to help me along this journey of growth. And storytelling can be done in many ways. And the podcast is one way to do that. I also wanted to support women of a certain age because that's who I am, and how a lot of us are looking at our lives differently and wanting to focus on our passions. A lot of us got into jobs and realized that that wasn't good enough. That wasn't enough to feed your soul. And I interview various guests about their lives, where they are, what they're doing. And I've met some terribly interesting people. And I'm grateful for all of that. But again, I think with Mother's Day, having some self doubt, and I kind of, my self worth just kind of had fallen. And so I had to take a look at everything in my life and think about what I want. I still struggle with the who wants what from me, because I was always used to giving that to whomever. Oh, you need this? Oh, you need me to be like this. I'm, working with my coach. She says that I truly am an empath, that I really take in other people's emotions. And as she and I were talking, I thought about times when I was young, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I could sense how other people were feeling. And I know it wasn't my job to take care of these people, but it's like I could feel it. And there was this also feeling of, is there something I need to do? And I think, along with the abuse, that there was some issues, a combination of kind of like people pleasing, because I'm feeling what they need. And if I feel that someone is not in a good place, that if I can do something to better that. And it was easier for me to deal with other people's emotions than my own. I still struggle with figuring out how I'm feeling about things because I'm so used to kind of feeling the room instead of focusing on myself. So I'm still plugging along on my journey. Got different little pieces of my life that I'm working on. I know I had talked about also organizing and taking care of my home, and how I felt I was, what did I say, a borderline hoarder, because things were a mess. I didn't know where things were. And that felt overwhelming. I almost felt like I would feel stuck. It was like I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. And even though, of course, I could get up physically and do things, but emotionally, it made me feel stuck. So having people come in, helping me kind of rework the way I look at things. I mean, it's still hard. I have organization boxes, and, in those boxes are items that are appropriate, but I'm still pulling out stuff that I need to get rid of so then I can then put these organization boxes in their place. So it's an ongoing thing. Then, of course, my physical health, I had my stroke last year. And yes, I have lost some weight. And yes, I'm eating better, but I need to do better. I'm trying not to push myself too hard because then I get overwhelmed with everything. And so my focus is, again, with my coach and I talking, instead of saying, I'm going to do these 6 things today, I'm going to focus on, I'm going to do this one thing. Because if I get that one thing done today, then the next day I can do one more thing. If I have those 6 things I think I have to do, I don't get any of them done because I'm overwhelmed. And I just say, I'll do it tomorrow. So one day at a time, just trying to work through things. So I thank you all for sticking around on this journey with me. I'm always curious if any of these things you can relate to, if any of these things have reared their head in your life and are just looking for other people that have those same issues. Well, I'm telling you, there are a whole bunch of us out here that have issues. The good part of it is that feeling that you have enough value that it's worth working on. If you're not happy with your life, to make changes to it, that it's possible, that you can surround yourself with people that will be supportive of you and you can be supportive of them. It's truly a gift. It truly is. So thank you all for listening. I want everybody to have a great, long, wonderful weekend and loving on themselves and loving on their family. And I will talk to you soon. Love you all. Thank you for joining me today on Living in Midbloom. I hope you found this episode insightful, meaningful, and maybe it's given you something to think about. I invite you to share your positive reviews or ideas on topics you would like me to touch on by leaving your comments on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox, Podchaser, or Podcast Addict. We are all divine beings who just want to be seen, heard, and loved. Have a beautiful day.